Pleasure to serve, and I welcome and congratulate the Right Honourable Member for East Antrim in securing this debate. And it's a debate which cuts to the very heart of what it should mean to be part of the United Kingdom. And it should be no surprise to anyone that if you construct at a foreign institution's behest an internal international border within your own country and require customs checks and customs declarations and the payment of tariffs on movement of goods, it should be no surprise that you will hugely upset the internal market of the country upon which that internal border has been imposed. And therefore that is exactly what has happened. And indeed, I would go further. I would say that was exactly what was intended. As we remind ourselves that it was notoriously said in Brussels that the price of Brexit would be Northern Ireland. And what we have evolving before our very eyes is the dismembering of the United Kingdom as an object lesson to any other member state as to what happens if you dare to leave the EU. And therefore we have created a situation where, because Northern Ireland is within the EU's single market and under its customs code, GB is in law decreed to be, within their terms, a foreign country whose goods therefore must be checked when they move to within the EU, which Northern Ireland is regarded as being as far as their single market is concerned. So none of that should be a surprise that there will be disruption to the market as a consequence, and that indeed was the intention of the EU, to build an all-Ireland economically as a stepping stone, and that was the design. And the protocol is working in that sense, in that it is delivering what it intended to deliver. And therefore, when you hear from the FSB report that 34% of businesses that previously traded with Northern Ireland have stopped trading, that inevitably means that trade with the Irish Republic, which was the purpose of the protocol, to build the all-Ireland economy, is increasing. And we have had those statistics from NISRA, which shows that trade purchases from the Irish Republic over recent years have increased by 50% in comparison with any increase from GB, taking account of inflation. And therefore we have illustrated to us the protocol in action as to its intention to build an all-Ireland economy. And all that against a background where the ministers who sit in this room today are under a statutory obligation under Section 46 of the Internal Market Act to secure and maintain Northern Ireland's internal place within the UK market, to maintain our position so that goods travel freely. And it isn't, and it won't, because it's impossible to achieve that. And more than that, we were told, with all the spin that attended the Windsor Framework, that under Article 16 we were protected. If there was any diversion of trade, then the government would step in and take actions permitted under Article 16. Well, there has been diversion of trade, lamentable, demonstrable, huge diversion of trade. And what has the government done? Nothing. It has simply run away, taken a blind eye approach, and refused to act under Article 16. Indeed, not so long ago, a few weeks ago, in one of the delegated legislation committees, I had the minister tell me, that what Article 16 said, there had to be massive diversion of trade. No, it does not. It says any diversion of trade. And there has been that, but there's been no action, which makes this government wholly complicit in the dismantling of this union, makes it wholly complicit in the divorcing of Northern Ireland economically from within the rest of the United Kingdom. And unless and until that is addressed, then this issue is not going to be settled. Government talks much about its great reset. Well, it had an opportunity, but it didn't take it. If it's going to align SPS rules, why didn't it say to Europe, well, then we're taking back sovereignty and control on SPS over Northern Ireland? But that's not what the reset does. The reset contains sovereignty in the EU over SPS in Northern Ireland, and then does a separate deal in respect of GB. So we're on the road to dismantling this union, courtesy of this protocol, and that's why I, as a unionist, will always hold out against it.